Welcome to Base Vision Inside Security, episode 18, where we are talking about the unified tenant configuration management feature, which was announced in the past few months, which could be a very cool feature for a lot of customers. But first of all, with me is Lucas, who had already a deep look into this functionality. And yeah, probably first as an introduction, what is UTCM, which is the abbreviation? What benefits does it provide, or what challenge does it solve mainly?
So the biggest benefit is for your configurations within your environment. So at some stage you will configure your products, but after that you will have to make sure that the configuration stays in that desired state you are configuring. So that's where unified tenant configuration management comes into play. Let's have a look at the features and what part of the products are included. So the whole product is included within the Microsoft Entra tenant governance part. It manages the whole configuration settings, declaratively across one or multiple M365 workloads. So the workloads I will mention later, the supported ones. And behind that is a configuration as a code approach. So you can export, or the tool basically exports things as a JSON and compares the settings from that. The whole part is accessible via Graph APIs, and there is also a UI within Entra that we will show later. So bottom of the presentation, I already mentioned it, it addresses the core limitation of the traditional management. So the lack of full visibility into whether a configuration deviates from a desired state or if it's still correct. And that core deviation, that core feature is addressed by Unified Tenant Configuration Management.
I think you mentioned a few things which are quite interesting in my opinion. First of all, Microsoft is talking about configuration as code, but the current state is, yes, we can retrieve the configuration, yes, we can analyze it, we can compare it, we can see drifts, but we cannot apply, for example, configuration. So perhaps that's a future wish then to have that, but I think it's extremely important for security teams that you can now really check as well settings which you probably today have not available in API, that you can really compare it to what you have initially defined. But as well, I think a second use case is as well in troubleshooting. If I know if something has changed, this can help me as well in troubleshooting cases. So that is for me the second point where I think this could be extremely interesting for customers. But perhaps can we go a little bit deeper? What were your, or what features have you seen in the product at the moment?
Yes, of course. Let's jump right into it. First, to mention, as I said, that supported workloads, of course, Defender is supported, Microsoft Entra, Exchange, Intune, and Purview as well with Microsoft Teams, last but not least. Then, at the end, it's just a configuration of a baseline. So you define a desired state, you define your settings you want to be compared with. With that, or you define that in JSON, and there are, of course, hundreds of resource types available within the supported products. So there is currently a limit up to 200 resources per baseline, but you can have multiple baselines within your environment. Then, of course, the automated monitors. That's what you are here for, the automated way of the tool itself or the service itself to run every 6 hours against the baselines you defined. And like that, it's possible to also be notified, or to create an automation to be notified within when some drifts are happening. And there is also a limitation here, the 30 monitors per tenant, but with those 30 monitors per tenant, you can reach out to a lot of resources. And of course, the most important feature, the drift detection. So as soon as the configuration deviates from the state you defined within the JSON file, you will get a drift detection or a drift, and you can act on that drift. And then there is also, once a drift is manually remediated, there is also the automated resolution tracking. So you don't have to tell the tool that you already remediated the action itself. It will notice that with the 6 hours of the continuously running in the background and marks it as fixed. Last but not least, we have, or there are already the snapshots API. So if you should decide, or if you, for example, have an audit or your CISO wants to know what kind of settings are configured and where we have drifts, then it's also possible to pull a snapshot right now.
So I think the feature set is already very cool because it has a very broad spectrum of services which it covers. And I can say that from my personal experience, I wrote the M365 documentation tool, for example, which is as well collecting a lot of settings in a tenant. But when writing it, I realized that not all Microsoft tools offer the same API capabilities, especially in configuring the service. Exchange Online offers me a lot of configuration of objects within Exchange, but having the settings for Exchange, the global settings, they are often not available. And that's exactly something what I think is quite interesting, that Microsoft now is solving this bridge and is providing there as well export APIs to get all these settings, and this gives, I think, a lot of insights as well for customers. So can you as well show us a little bit how it looks like?
Of course. Let's have a look at that. It's just a screenshot. You can experience it yourself. It's within the governance section within Entra ID, currently in preview. So you have multiple sections. First, you see, of course, your monitors. Then you have a section for the monitor results, the results you were waiting for. And of course, last but not least, you can see the drifts itself. There are also some community projects already with some additional overview about that. But this feature and the UI itself is still in preview, so it will probably evolve as well.
So quite cool. It's now there via UI, and you mentioned the community tool. So I think there will be a lot of opportunities there, especially as well for managed service providers, which probably will manage multiple tenants. So I think that's just a starting point, what Microsoft made there. And it's a highly awaited feature, how I see it. And yeah, let's see how or what the future will bring to that. Thank you for watching Base Vision Inside Security. Thank you, Lucas, for being here and explaining the functionality of unified tenant configuration management. And see you soon again.